Hi, happy Wednesday, happy hump day. How you guys doing? I'm doing all right. I'm hanging out. Sorry, you might see a little bit of a glare from the earrings. These are one of my favorite pairs of earrings. I love anything that's dangly and shiny and sparkly and blingy. Um, so sorry if there's a glare. I'll try to angle a little bit so it won't be too bad. How are you guys feeling today? Made it through the halfway point of the work week. So glad that we are here. So glad that we're here together. Want to just welcome everybody here. I'm Dr. Brandye, and I teach women how to feel good in and out of the bedroom and show them how to get their sexy back. And I just want to welcome you to the Life, Love, Libido show. So welcome. This is our weekly appointment that we have together just to hang and talk and just discuss all things related to life, love, and libido. Tonight I wanted to just share a little bit about who I am and how I got into this work. And then I want to talk a little bit about your orgasmic potential, and what that looks like and what that even is. So I think we'll have a good discussion tonight, but if you have any questions, if you know anybody who may be struggling in the area of their sex life, don't have any ideas about what they can do or how they can get help or who they can get help from, invite them to this video. If you're watching on the replay, hit replay in the comments, share the video. Again, if you know anybody who could benefit from this information, because I really am very passionate about women and women's health and women's sexual health specifically. So with that being said, we'll dive right in. So I am Dr. Brandye. I am a board certified OBGYN, and also what I have dubbed a libido coach. And as far as I know, that title or that job didn't exist before I decided to have that topic. There are sex therapists, there are sexologists, there are people who work in the marriage and family therapy space that also have a specific focus with or on sexual health and different aspects of sexuality. But as far as I could tell, there wasn't anyone in this space who was specifically looking at desire from a woman's perspective. And so that's my passion, and that's what I enjoy doing and what I enjoy talking about. And I got into this work kind of in a roundabout way. It started with me kind of having my own struggles with sexuality and being a mother and a wife, and feeling like, okay, I accomplished all these things, made it to what I thought was the pinnacle of my life. I was married, had a child, had my own practice in the community, and I was like, all right, I made it. But I wasn't happy, and I was very much struggling on the personal side. On the professional side, things looked great, but on the personal side, I was struggling specifically with my marriage and how that all was playing out with the fatigue and burnout and all of these other things that just really contributed to a lot of tension, a lot of anger, resentment, frustrations in the marriage, because I didn't want to have sex. And it wasn't that, oh, I want to have sex, but I can't figure out, how to lubricate or have an orgasm or anything like that. It was just like, I don't want to have sex at all. And just with my own explorations for why, reading books, looking at different resources online, even going to like major conferences for OBGYNs. There really wasn't any long-term solutions for what I was going through, and trying to figure out what it was that I could do to solve this problem. And it was a problem. It was tearing my marriage apart and tearing my family apart, and I needed to get to the bottom of what was happening. And so I ended up doing a lot of internal work and just finding different resources on my own, and looking at ways that that would illuminate where your desire is, how you can make that desire more prominent, what you can do to make things fun, what you can do to have more orgasms, what you can do to stay present in the moment. And so as I was finding these things out, I was also having patients who would come to me and they were in their 20s, in their 30s. Like, can you check me? I think I'm in menopause because I don't want to have sex. And it's like, well, hold on, let's talk about a few things. You know, are you having hot flashes? Are you noticing mood changes? You know, the typical symptoms of menopause. Is any of that happening? Well, no. Okay, well, let's talk about it. Let's look at what's happening for you. And so because I had done the work myself, I was actually able to share some tools and some tips with people, with my patients, to allow them to move past their blocks and be able to have vibrant, passionate sex lives. And so I was so grateful for that, and that was what was lighting me up in my days at work. It was like, oh, I get to talk about something that I really enjoy talking about. I get to talk about sex and how you can make it better, and how you can, you know, have more of it and just enjoy it, instead of it being this torture or this thing that you want to check off and hurry up and get done with so you can go to sleep. And so that birthed Life, Love, Libido and my coaching business. And so today I coach clients and patients through this process, and I help them to have and live their best sex life ever. So with that being said, tonight we are going to talk about something really exciting. I want to talk about your orgasmic potential and how you can amplify that, and how you can make it as good as it can be, as good as you want it to be. So the first thing that you have to understand about orgasmic potential is that everybody has an orgasmic potential. So some people may struggle with getting turned on, staying turned on, actually completing things and climaxing, but everybody has orgasmic potential, because everybody has the necessary equipment to be able to orgasm. So you have a brain, you have nerve endings, you have the physical parts that are there. So you have an orgasmic potential, and it needs to be activated for some people. Some of the reasons why it may not be apparent to you is that, excuse me, you may not understand, or you may miss your cues that tell you that you are aroused or that you are turned on, because sometimes those cues can get mixed up. Sometimes, well, pleasure and cravings and desires all things are mediated by the same place in the brain. So you craving sex is also comes from the same spot where you're craving chocolate, where you're craving something that gets your adrenaline going. So sometimes you can confuse the cravings for other things like food and adrenaline and those kinds of things. You can confuse that for a desire for sex and a desire for intimacy and closeness as well. So first thing is, you want to be able to recognize your cues. Second thing, or some of the other reasons that people may not recognize their orgasmic potential, is culturally they've been told, especially for women, they've been told that they have to be a good girl, and that although, they can be sexualized in terms of how they show up in society, when you are actually in the bedroom, you feel as though you can't be that vixen, you can't be aggressive, you can't be who you want to be, and you can't let your desires and things out, because then you would not be a good girl. And then there's actually some people who may have certain medical conditions that can make the sensations of sex and the pleasure that is derived from that, it can make those sensations less pleasurable, sometimes painful. So there's a few different reasons why you may not know what your orgasmic potential is, but you have it, and it's just a matter of uncovering what's happening and going from there. So the second part of your orgasmic potential is knowing that it's not one size fits all. So one of the common questions that I ask when I do my group sessions is, how many types or categories of orgasms do you think there are? And most people will say 1, 2, 5. And those are, common guesses. The typical things that people think of are the clitoral orgasm and the G-spot orgasm. But, and those are good spots. They work. Let me tell you, about 70% of women have orgasms from clitoral stimulation. So it's the most common place for you to stimulate to be able to have an orgasm. But it's not the only place. It's not the only place. So there are at least 10 categories of orgasms and 10 different spots that you can stimulate to have an orgasm. Did you know that? So you have a plethora of opportunities to be able to bring pleasure to yourself or have your partner bring pleasure to you. So like I said, clitorally, there's the G spot, there's A spot, U spot. There's so many different ways. And so if you don't know about these specific spots and places and things that you can stimulate, then you are limiting your orgasmic potential. And so I help women to actually be able to identify where those spots are and give them tools and strategies so that they can stimulate them. And some of them are like physical places on your body that you touch, and other places are here in your brain, in your mind, because your brain is your biggest sex organ. And so we definitely want to put your brain into the mix with all of this, but sometimes there are things that you can do that stimulate your brain that just blow your mind. They just blow your mind. So the third thing that we want to talk about is just how you can maximize your orgasmic potential. So first and foremost, you just want to be open. Be open to receive pleasure, to give pleasure. A lot of times when we are going about our day, we're trying to just make it through. If we can just make it through and get through everything and do what it is that we want and need to do, then we're good. But we're not really nurturing our souls. We're not nurturing our vitality. And so because of that, we miss out on opportunities to receive and to give pleasure. Hey, Dr. Mashika, thanks for joining. So we are talking about orgasmic potential and how you can maximize your orgasmic potential. So thanks for joining. I hope you get some good information from this. And if you feel like someone can benefit from it, please pass it on to your friends. Sharing is caring, so please share. And so first and foremost, you just have to recognize and be open to receive and to give pleasure. Secondly, you have to do a little bit of studying. You do have to do some things to learn how it is that your body can receive pleasure. You have to know what you like, what you don't like, what turns you on, what doesn't turn you on. And if you're having partnered sex, you also want to know what turns your partner on and what your partner likes to do and what will make their toes curl. So you have to do a little bit of studying. It's a little different than doing calculus or some of those other subjects in school, but you got to learn some things about yourself and about your partner. So number one, being receptive. Number two, knowing what makes you feel good and what turns your partner on and what makes your partner feel good. The third thing that you can do is to just try to switch things up. So if you typically are having sex just at nighttime, switch it up. Have sex in the morning. As soon as you wake up, just roll over, make it happen. If you are typically having sex in the morning, switch it up. Have sex in the evening. Or you could do a noontime, lunchtime deal and just do a drive-by on your partner, make it happen real fast, go back to what you were doing. That can spice things up really, really nicely. So, just switching things up. That helps so much. So we talked about tonight your orgasmic potential, and we talked about the three things that I wanted you to know about orgasmic potential. First is just to know that everybody has all the necessary equipment to be able to have an orgasm. The second thing was to know that not one size fits all. So one thing may work for one person and may not work for the other. Also, with the one size doesn't fit all, you may not have the same experience with the same stimulation to the same spot for a different with a different time that you're doing it. So even within yourself, certain things may feel good one time and not feel so great another time. So you just have to be open and know that nothing's wrong. You're not broken. You can still have pleasure, but you just got to explore your own body. And then the third thing is just maximize your orgasmic potential. Do all those things that make you feel good, even before you get to the bedroom. So, just being receptive to compliments, like, especially for women. If we have another woman telling us, oh, you look so beautiful today, oh, I love your dress, or, anything, we're like, oh, this old thing, I just pulled this out of my closet, and we downplay it. But you know what? Just receive that. Because being receptive to the little things allows you to be receptive to the big things. So be receptive, know what turns you on, and know what turns your partner on, and then switch it up. Yep. Thank you, Dr. Mashika, for that recap. I appreciate that. So the last thing I wanted to just leave you guys with is that for women, sometimes desire can be a little complex. For men, it tends to go in a linear path, straight from arousal all the way up to climax, and then they have a refractory period where they have to rest a little bit and then come back. For women, it can be a bit more complex. It was funny because this weekend I was volunteering for my daughter's pep squad at our weekend bingo night. And as they were calling out the numbers and the letters and, just watching people, do their thing, I was struck by how that can sometimes be the picture for a woman's libido and how she is actually needing to hit here, B3, N25, O36, and just trying to line everything up so that she can yell bingo or orgasm, as it were. And so I would liken what I do to helping women to get that bingo, helping women to be able to have that orgasm and then have it again and again and again. So if you know anyone who needs help with that, if you know a woman who needs help with that, please share my info with them. If you are a woman who needs help with that, you can book a session with me so we can come up with your winning strategy so that you can have as many orgasms as you want, enjoy sex, and have a vibrant sex life. And you can sign up for that at bit.ly /Dr. Brandye. So that's bit.ly /DrBrandye. And I'd love to work with you. I would love to be able to get you to that point where you're like, yes, sex, let's do it, let's have it, I want it. Yeah, Dr. Mashika, we have so much going on, so much on our minds that it makes it so difficult for us to relax and actually have an orgasm, have sex, and enjoy it. So I want to be your desire ambassador and help you to be able to do those things. So for that, with all of that, thank you for watching. And again, this is the Life, Love, Libido show. I'm Dr. Brandye. I help women to, I teach women how to feel good in and out of the bedroom and give them their best sex life ever. You can follow me at Dr. Brandye, MD, on all social platforms. And again, if you'd like to sign up for, or if you'd like to book your strategy session to learn how to have your best sex life ever, go to bit.ly /Dr. Brandye. All right, good night, guys.